related interviews, reviews, and content, please like and subscribe to Pooja Talwar. You can also follow me on Twitter and on Instagram.
Hello, Banita. So how is Lady Sita Malhotra feeling as of now?
She's feeling great. She's feeling so happy with the response. It's like crazy to see the viewing numbers on this show, honestly. I think it's something that I didn't really wrap my head around when we were shooting, but yeah, feeling good.
As I would say, you're quite the talk of the town now. And are you feeling that? Because, it just seems to have put you and ushered you into the spotlight, though you were in the spotlight, but it seems the spotlight's become a tad more brighter.
I think at first, like, the response was so amazing and overwhelming. Like, I genuinely did not expect it. But also, I don't know, I think I've had time to like settle in and you just, like you go about your day as normal. So like things change, but like really fundamentally they don't, if that makes sense.
Bridgerton also stood for inclusivity as well as diversity in terms of the characters we've got to see and the actors playing those characters. Did you also feel, because from the time when you made your debut, it's been 6 years since October, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I know. I don't know where the time goes. It gives me anxiety, if I'm being honest.
No, I know what you mean. But did you also feel that this is now a change? There is a change in tide. There's a change in wave where actors who may look a certain way, may represent a certain nationality and all, are not being boxed. They're getting to play characters, whosoever they might be.
There's definitely been a change. Like, I've been acting in this country since I was like 11 years old, and just in terms of numbers, like I would be lucky to get one audition every like 2 years when I was a kid, and now like I can be anywhere from like 3 to 4 auditions a week sometimes. So like just seeing like how those doors have opened and like I can actually get into rooms where casting can see me is anyways a feat. And then like obviously booking the job and getting onto that show is another one. So things are definitely going in the right direction, that's for sure.
So talking about Bridgerton, since everyone's talking about it, what was it like? And I think you were on holiday when they asked you to audition. And did you even, try that maybe I would like audition for Bridgerton, maybe I should just get in touch, or did this just happen out of the blue?
I mean, like, yeah, I was on holiday with my family and my agent sent me the self-tape, and honestly, it's nothing out of the ordinary. I'm always traveling like with work as well, and so you get sent through an audition and it's kind of just like, okay, my deadline is like no time and you just have to bang it out as soon as you can. So it was a case of like getting my tripod from my suitcase, shooting myself, sending it off to casting, and then 2 days later, like I got a call saying I'd booked it, and next thing I knew, I was in costume trials. Like the turnaround was so quick, like really, really quick.
What did you enjoy most as Sita Malhotra, Lady Sita Malhotra? Because she's described as, someone to reckon with, like quite a catch. That's how she's introduced. So what was that like playing her?
It was like, honestly, the costumes were just incredible. Like it was so fun playing dress up in the Bridgerton universe and just like being around all of the other actors, and like even the crew were just like incredible. So I think being her and like feeling pretty, because like a lot of the movies I've done, I barely wear makeup. Like my directors want me to look not so great. So it was really nice to like do a job where I got glammed up and I felt like good about myself.
So what was the vibe like on set? I saw you all dancing to Beyonce's number, all of you together. What was the vibe like? I mean, what's the set like? Since we're also curious, because what we get to see is like everyone waits for Bridgerton. Right?
Yeah.
You were part of Bridgerton. So it's like going back in time, but it's also extremely modern day, and you have quite the pop numbers and stuff happening there.
Yeah, it's honestly just like it's a lot of teas and coffees. I remember we'd always have so many hot drinks on set, and we would all just like kind of sit around in the waiting room, you chat, like everyone has their book that they read, and even with like dancing, it's like sometimes like, you're waiting for them to set up, and it's just fun to like get up and move your body and like just bond and have that experience. So yeah, it was just like fun, honestly. It was like hanging out with friends.
That's awesome. And apart from that, what was the reaction from your Indian film industry walas, any reaction coming their way when they saw you in Bridgerton?
Yeah, like a lot of people reached out actually, which was really sweet. I don't think I've had this many people reach out, like not just from India, but like even like friends and family, people I haven't spoken to in years, just like congratulating me. And I really didn't expect it, to be honest. So that was like really lovely to have people reach out.
So who's that one Bridgerton character that you personally wouldn't have mind a romantic track with? Because we've only seen 3 seasons. So who's like your favorite? Like just as a viewer, I'm asking, not as an actor. Or
Oh,
as an actor, who would you want to be romanced by with?
um, I mean, like they're all the Bridgerton bros are just like they're all taken at this point. Like the only one left is Benedict, so I guess it would have had to have been him, but journey.
But were you a Bridgerton fan? Were you a fan of the series personally, or?
I remember it came out during COVID, and I think I binge watched it in a day. And then yeah, like to even just have the opportunity to audition for it was really cool, and then to be on those sets and to book the job was a really it's something that I don't take for granted.
So from the Banita who made her debut in October to the one who was in Bridgerton, what has changed? Do you see her change as an actor? I mean,
That's a really lovely question. I think like so much has changed. Like I was really a young girl when I started in this industry, and I was so young and naive and innocent and really thrown in the deep end and kind of left to fight for myself. And I've been through a lot since then, and I've definitely learned from my mistakes. I've learned more things about the industry and how to navigate it. And I think not so much as of an actor, but like just as a person, like I think I've learned to really build resilience. It's not an easy industry. It's not as glamorous as it looks. And I think I really learned to stand up for myself and have a voice. I feel like at the beginning I felt like I didn't really have a voice. And that might just have been part and parcel with like how young I was. Like I was 18 when I started, you know, so in India. So I just think I've seen a lot of growth as me as a woman and feeling more comfortable in my skin and feeling more comfortable to say no and to feel more valued, I guess, rather than disposable. But you know, like it's an ongoing journey. Like I still don't have it all together, and I'm still figuring it out. And yeah, I guess like I'll see where it takes me.
don't worry. I mean, people who've been 2 decades in the industry are still figuring out where it takes them. So it's okay. You've just started. But, for someone who made her debut, you actually made your debut with the best, with Shujit Sarkar in October. And the movie also changed the dynamics for Varun because he could prove himself as an actor that, he could play Dan. How tough was it? Because, I mean, you look Indian, but it's just that you don't speak Indian, etc. And, there's certain expectations. Was that really difficult? Because the Indian film industry sees you in a certain way, they perceive you in a certain way, and then you get boxed. And then it takes you a lifetime to basically dismantle that box.
I think it was really, I mean, it was a very difficult experience because I was also studying at university at the same time. So I was studying in London, shooting my first movie in India, and I didn't know Hindi at the time. So that was like I really was thrown in the deep end, and like I have no one to blame but myself. But it was definitely tough, but it really made me into the person that I am today. And I think the reason why I said yes to that film at not the best time of my life was because I knew I was in great hands. I knew I had Shujit Sir at the helm of the movie, and I knew it was going to come out great. Otherwise, if it hadn't have been for him, I don't know whether I would have said yes to it at that point in my life.
But what was your biggest challenge? What do you think still remains your biggest challenge in navigating, I would say, Bollywood? Hollywood, when it comes to international, there is another because, being a colored actor, it's now getting inclusive because suddenly people are talking all that. I think they're getting there, but it's still a long haul for most of them, what has been your biggest challenge? Because you're on both sides, maybe not too Indian enough, but not too British enough either.
I know, and I really used to struggle with it, but at this point, I've learned that actually it's my unique selling point. There's not really anyone like me, and I'm learning to embrace it and learning that there's a whole other audience. There's an incredible diaspora that we have, so many NRIs who, especially like Punjabi as well.
Yeah.
And so in that sense, it's like I don't see that as a hindrance anymore. I used to always feel not enough in each country. Now I'm like, I am enough because I am who I am and I have this identity. And there are millions of other people who share this identity with me. And it's this kind of journey of belonging and like feeling like you're not enough for each, but it's like, you know what, actually we have our own community and finding that belonging in that community. And I'm trying to find that belonging creatively as well. I think in the work that I do, I think that's why I work in both the industries, because that is who I am. Like I'm Indian, but I'm British. Like I am both, and that's totally okay. I think for me, the really the biggest challenge is I can't be in two places at the same time. I wish I could. I wish teleportation existed. My life would be so much easier. I wish flights weren't so long. So yeah, the biggest difference is actually the practicality of, like the biggest challenge is the practicality of the distance.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And also, do you see a change in the kind of narratives coming your way now? Because the past 5, 6 years, in terms of whether it's women-led narratives, even I feel the Indian film industry is going through a churn as well. And with the OTT coming, and also, since doing international, and I mean, even India would be international cinema for you, just basically handling world cinema, let me put it that way. Do you see there is a change in terms of the kind of work coming your way?
There has been a change. I would say, especially like in the movie I'm shooting right now, it's in the Indian industry going to be the biggest change for me in terms of the kind of character that I'm playing. And
Can you
like,
tell us a bit about that?
I mean, I really can't say anything, but when I tell you it's a completely different kind of character than I've ever played before, like just getting my teeth into it has been really wonderful and like challenging, but in a good way. So I think oh, and honestly, like I keep forgetting I shot this movie. I shot another movie that should be releasing soon in India, and she's also different to what I've played before. So I definitely am getting kind of like this shift that's happening, which has been really wonderful. And I think I said no to a lot of things. So to have waited it out so that I could finally get that change of role instead of kind of just sticking to the same one has maybe worked in my favor, I hope. So yeah.
So what are the kind of narratives going forward you want to see that you can explore and showcase your abilities as an actor? What do you think is the kind of work that you're seeking and would want to play than the work that you've been getting? That's what I meant.
I think I would like to play, I guess, female character. I think in India in particular, but this isn't applicable to my more recent stuff that I'm doing, but like a lot of my characters have been more at service to the male character, if that makes sense. Like it's kind of helped drive their narrative and the male character's plotline. I would like to play a female character where the guy helps to drive my plotline, if that makes sense.
Coming back to your life, growing up in, the UK, what was that like? I know it shaped you as the human you are today. And what has that been like? And what is it? When did you decide that you wanted to be an actor? And then also Bollywood. I think we all grow up because that's the one destination. How did that all happen? Did you always want to be an actor, or was it just something that just happened?
No, it was something I always wanted to be. And I remember when my first movie came out, like everyone kind of just thought like I came out of nowhere and it just happened. But it's like, well, I've been trying to be an actor since I was 11 and I'm like 18, 19 now. So it's taken me 8 years to even get here. So nothing is as overnight as it seems. I think one thing I'm noticing in today's time and age is that things are so transient and just kind of like you have this big moment and like because of social media everything's just so quick and our attention span is so slow, I mean so our attention span is like non-existent, honestly, that like people move on to something like very, very quickly. So even like with TV shows, it's like, you know, you have your moment and then it's like on to the next, on to the next, on to the next, and then you're like forgotten. So it takes a really long time to have those big moments, and those big moments don't last as long as they used to, is what I'm noticing right now, if that makes sense.
I so agree with what you said, because even in India, a lot of film stars say that we spend more time on social media, basically the image that is curated, and also in increasing your social currency vis-a-vis the time one would spend in acting and improvising on your skills. Do you also feel that it's like become a burden because you really need to be there? Because even as an actor, it's never your craft, it's your private life that's spoken more of than the craft. Do you actually feel this is also a problem to navigate?
It's as much of a problem as you make it. You do have control over what you can say yes and no to. I say no to a lot of stuff outside of acting that I get offered. I think my poor management team in India like must hate me because I say no to a lot of stuff. That's more kind of like the outside of being an actor, like publicity, whatever, because it just doesn't interest me as much. But I'm not negligible to the fact that I understand it is such an important part of the industry in like building your place and your identity. And that is something that I've had to learn to come to terms with. But at the same time, like I'll do it on my terms, and and personally, like if I could, in an ideal world, like my life would just be on a set acting, in workshops, working on my craft. But it is about like finding somewhat of a balance between the two.
No, I totally get that. So what do you like to do? If not acting, how do you like to spend your time?
Like in terms of like work, if I wasn't
If
an
you're not
actor.
acting, if you're not working.
Oh,
Okay, let me say, Banita, the actor versus Banita, the person. What does Banita, when she's not acting, when she's not calling up people, when she's not auditioning, what is like an ideal moment for her?
literally in my sweatpants, no makeup, sitting at home with my friends and family on the sofa. Like when I tell you that is my life. Because like otherwise my work is so hectic. I travel so much that like I really value the times when I can just like chill and like just relax and breathe and just be with my loved ones. So like that is literally all I do. You can ask like my friends, I don't really like to live a hectic lifestyle because my work is anyway so hectic. So the minute like if I get time off or like I'm in between projects, like I just like to chill at home. Like I'm a really big homebody.
So in India, you've done Bollywood as well as South. Which one did you find more disciplined as such?
Disciplined?
In terms of, since you're done, I mean, which industry did you find more discipline? Let's even put Hollywood in here. Which actually industry find more discipline that the other could learn from? A change that you'd want to see?
I don't think I would want to see a change in any of them if I'm being honest, because like for me, like on set in India, like it is organized chaos, but it works. And like I actually enjoy it sometimes. Whereas in the West, it's more like structured and timely, and that works here. I don't think they need to learn from each other. Like they both work very well in like independently in like the place that they're in. And I do love like being able to travel between the two countries. Like when I'm in India, I have like a different lifestyle and a different way of living. And when I'm in the UK, it's another like different way of living. And I feel like it's like these two personas, but like they're both a part of me. And like I enjoy, like I actually enjoy the differences.
Can we hope to see you in a Punjabi film, since you've already done a music video with Diljit and AP as well? So can we see you in a Punjabi film? And now Diljit is a hero in Bollywood. Who
I
would have
know.
thought?
Well, hopefully a movie with Diljit soon. That's all I
Wow,
can say.
really?
Hopefully, let's see.
What's the one tough thing? What do you think is
Um,
actually a misnomer that people have of an actor's life? What would you want to tell young aspiring actors like you, like, which is like the biggest myth you want to break?
um, one thing I will say to anyone young aspiring to be an actor is really be sure that this is what you love. and make sure you're going into it for the right reasons, because if it's for the money or the glamour or the vanity or the fame, it's not the right reason to get into this. Because like really those things for me are not the things that make this worthwhile. What makes doing this job worthwhile is being an actor and being on set. And like I have to put up with the other stuff to be able to do that, if that makes sense. Like the vanity and the fame and the glamour, but like it's not glamorous. Like it really isn't. So just make sure like this is really, really what you want to do, and know that it's not easy. And if there's something else you have a passion for, I would highly recommend doing that.
So my last question is, what is fame for you? Since, I mean, everybody does get into this industry for the fame as well. What is fame for you?
I've hid away from fame as much as possible from the beginning of my career. I don't know if you notice, but like I do my work and then I leave and I'm at home with my family. I'm not so pushy. I didn't have a publicist literally until like the end of last year because I had no choice but to get one. And I really do try to keep my private life private, and I kind of have shied away from it, much to the detriment of my management, because they would love for me to like embrace it more. But I think in that sense, it's something I've always like hidden away from, and like I'll embrace it when I have to when I'm working, but otherwise like I just try to live a normal life. Thank you guys for watching and listening, and I hope you enjoy the next season of Bridgerton.
Yeah, waiting to see you in there. Surprise, Sita Malhotra.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Lovely.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
If you've liked this interview, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram.